There are places in this world where silence breathes. It drifts between the trees, hums beneath the moss, and curls around forgotten stones. If you listen long enough, you can almost hear the heartbeat of the earth itself. Steady, patient, and ancient beyond memory. The Appalachian Trail stretches more than 2,000 miles through that living silence, a ribbon of soil and stone threading its way from Georgia's gentle foothills to the granite peaks of Maine. To some, it is a pilgrimage. To others, an escape. To a few, a threshold to something older than language. Each year, thousands set foot on this trail seeking beauty or peace. Most return with stories of sunrise ridges and rain-drenched nights. But a few never return at all. They step into the green, and the green swallows them whole. Tonight, we follow those quiet footprints, the tales of hikers who vanished, of voices that echo between the trees, of the wilderness that keeps its secrets long after names fade from the maps. This is strange but slumber, where truth drifts like mist, and mystery is a lullaby. They call the Appalachian Trail the Green Tunnel, a corridor of leaf and light that can cradle you one moment and close around you the next. It is not just a path, but a world entire. Humid valleys where fog hangs like breath, stone ridges crowned in wind, streams that whisper to no one in particular. The trail was first envisioned in the 1920s by Benton McKay, a man who dreamed of connecting mountain tops like beads on a string. He saw it as a refuge from modern noise, a place where human beings could feel small again, humbled before the patient continent, but long before white surveyors drove their markers into the soil. These mountains were known by older names, Cherokee, Shawnee, and Abenaki words that meant home of the spirits, ridge of the ghosts, the place where the wind speaks. Even then, travelers spoke of strange lights moving through the timber, of voices calling their names in languages they did not know. There are campsites on the trail where the temperature drops, as if a door had opened to another season. Hikers tell of waking to footsteps outside their tents, heavy and unhurried, stopping just short of the fabric wall. When they unzip the flat nothing, only the trees, still and listening. Perhaps it is imagination born of fatigue and isolation. Perhaps it is the mind trying to make sense of endless silence. But in every account, there is the same hush afterward, as if the forest itself has inhaled. The trail keeps records of its wanderers, logbooks in wooden shelters, filled with trail names and mile counts. Among the jokes and sketches are occasional pleas, scribbled notes that read,
"Saw something in the fog. Not sure if it was a person.
Heard laughter near midnight. I was alone.
If you find this, I made camp by the crooked pine."
Most hikers smile at such entries, call them campfire tales, yet the rangers who collect the logbooks admit that some handwriting never appears again. There is a rhythm to disappearance here. A hiker leaves a shelter before dawn, their pack heavy, their boots damp from yesterday's storm. They promise to meet a companion a few miles ahead. The trail bends, vanishes behind rhododendrons, and that is the last anyone ever sees. Sometimes search teams find a single boot print, a scrap of fabric caught on bark, a map folded neatly on a rock as if left for someone else to follow. More often they find nothing at all. To walk the Appalachian Trail is to move through layers of story, colonial ghost tales, lost gold mines, Civil War skirmishes, and the endless hum of wind in pine needles. Every ridge holds a name from someone's past. Blood Mountain, Misery Hill, Lost Cove. The geography itself seems to warn you, but still they come. Those drawn by solitude, by challenge, by something they can't quite name. Maybe they believe that if they walk far enough, they'll reach the heart of the forest and understand what it has been trying to say for centuries. Thunder fades to gentle wind. There are no ghosts on the trail, some insist. Only memories lingering like mist. But others whisper that the trail remembers every step, that it keeps an imprint of everyone who's ever walked it. And sometimes, when the moon is thin and the fog drifts low, it lets one of those imprints wander again. So we begin where all stories begin, with the first to vanish, the ones who remind us that beauty and danger share the same quiet breath. They called her Jerry, a retired nurse, 66 years old, small in stature and endlessly kind. She loved laughter, crossword puzzles, and the steady rhythm of her boots on a trail. In the spring of 2013, she began the journey of her dreams, a solo through hike of the Appalachian Trail. She carried a small Bible, a journal, and a camera that held more sky than faces. For weeks, she wrote cheerful updates to her husband, George, who drove ahead to meet her at supply points. She texted one night from the Maine woods.
"Good spirits. Rainy but beautiful."
It would be the last message he ever received. When she missed their next rendezvous, George assumed a delay. Weather, exhaustion, nothing more. But as the hours turned to a day, and then two, search teams began to fan through the mountains near Reddington Township. Hundreds of volunteers combed the ridges, calling her name into fog that swallowed their voices. Days became weeks. The forest gave back nothing but silence. The official search ended after a month. The trail, it seemed, had taken her into its endless green. 2 years later, a surveyor mapping an area 2 miles from the trail found a collapsed tent hidden among furs. Inside lay a faded sleeping bag, a small backpack, and a journal sealed inside a plastic bag. The entries were written in a calm, tidy hand, each one dated as if time still mattered.
Day 1, lost. Set up camp to wait for rescue. Plenty of supplies. Day 12, rations low. Hoping someone will find me soon. Day 24, when you find my body, please call my husband and daughter. It will be the greatest kindness you could do for us.
She had survived nearly a month, building small fires, collecting rainwater, leaving faint traces that rescuers somehow passed within yards of. When they finally found her, the forest had already started to reclaim the camp. Moss grew across the nylon, roots pressed through the earth where she'd slept. They said her last act was to zip the tent, fold her hands across her chest, and wait for morning that never came. Her story became a cautionary tale for hikers. Carry a GPS, never leave the trail. But beneath the lesson was something quieter, a strange peace in her words, as though she had accepted the forest not as enemy, but companion. Those who hike near the Reddington stretch still speak of her. On foggy mornings, some say they smell faint wood smoke where no fire burns. Others claim they've found small stacked stones, each balanced perfectly, leading toward the old campsite. Whether spirit or memory, Jerry remains part of the trail, a whisper between raindrops, a name the wind seems to remember. Far below, streams murmur through granite veins. Above, clouds drift like slow thoughts. And somewhere between them, a woman's laughter still moves through the trees, soft, steady, unafraid. In June of 1969, the Great Smoky Mountains wore their summer crown green upon green, streams tumbling over stone, thunderheads crouched behind the peaks. Families came to Spencefield that weekend, picnics packed, laughter bright as bird song. Among them was the Martin family, Bill, Anne, and their 6-year-old son, Dennis. Dennis was a shy boy with quick eyes and a gap-toothed smile. He loved to hide, to jump from behind trees and shout boo. That afternoon, he and a few other children planned such a game. The adults watched as they scattered into the thickets, counting softly to 10. The seconds passed, the laughter thinned, and Dennis did not come back. At first it seemed a prank stretched too long. Bill Martin called his son's name until the valley itself echoed it back. Searchers fanned outward, expecting to find a giggling child behind a log. But the woods answered with nothing. Night fell like a closing hand. Rain moved in cold, relentless, washing away scent and track alike. By dawn, the Park Service had begun what would become one of the largest search operations in national park history. Helicopters circled the ridges, hundreds of volunteers, rangers, and even a detachment of Green Berets combed the slopes. Dogs lost the trail at the edge of a stream. Every hollow, every ravine was searched again and again. Weeks passed. The mountains offered only silence. Rumors grew in the quiet. Some spoke of a bear, others of a stranger seen driving the park roads that day. A few locals whispered older stories of wild men living in the Smokies, figures glimpsed at twilight, moving upright through the brush. Searchers dismissed the talk, yet even they admitted the forest seemed uneasy, as if watching them from behind the veil of rain. No trace of Dennis Martin was ever found. Not a scrap of fabric, not a shoe, not a bone. It was as though the mountain had simply drawn a breath and kept him. In the years that followed, hikers claimed strange encounters in those woods. A child's voice calling faintly from nowhere. A flash of red cloth vanishing among trees. Skeptics call it grief echoing down generations. But parents who camp near Spence Field still hold their children close. When the fog comes low and the forest grows still, because sometimes the trail does not give back what it takes. Not every disappearance on the trail carries a name the world remembers. Some are single lines in ranger reports.
Hiker overdue. Search initiated.
Some are stories told only in campfire glow. Half believed, half remembered. Kept alive because the silence afterward feels heavier without words. There was the hunter who followed a deer's track into fog and was never seen again. The two friends near Klingman's Dome who swore they heard footsteps pacing their tent all night, only to find a circle of small stones arranged around them by dawn. the woman who left her shelter in the rain, saying she could hear music down the valley. A thin, reedy tune like a flute made of bone. No one found her, but a week later another hiker said he heard the same melody and felt compelled to walk toward it, as though the forest itself were calling him home. The mountains have always held stories of lights that wander the ridges. Miners once claimed to see them blue orbs dancing above the hollows. Scientists call them swamp gas or lightning trapped by terrain. Old-timers call them will-o'-the-wisps, souls of travelers who lost their way. When you hike beneath a moonless sky and see a flicker through the trees, you learn not to chase it. There are ridges along the southern trail where locals say the wind sometimes carries voices that aren't echoes. Hikers hear their own names whispered in accents not their own. Some stop to answer. Most keep walking, pretending the sound was just the forest talking in its sleep. Folklore clings to these hills the way mist clings to granite. The Cherokee told of the Nunahai, the people who lived under the mountains, guardians of the land who could appear as humans when they wished. They were kind but secretive, and those who followed them too far into the woods were said to vanish for years, returning changed, if they returned at all. In Virginia, some tell of a phantom traveler called the Ridge Walker, a tall figure seen only in rain, always ahead on the path, yet never leaving prints. One hiker wrote that he followed the man for miles, calling out greetings that went unanswered. When he reached a clearing, there were no tracks, no footprints, only mist curling where the figure had stood. Whether spirit or storm, the trail gathers every rumor like fallen leaves. It remembers, and in that remembering lies its mystery. Each story blends into the next, until fact and folklore share the same quiet rhythm. You begin to realize that perhaps the difference doesn't matter, that the heart of every legend is simply a truth we can't measure. When darkness settles over the Blue Ridge, the forest hums with the weight of centuries. Every branch, every stone is part of a story still being written. Its ink the breath of those who dared to walk too deep. And if you pause long enough for your heartbeat to match the pulse of the woods, you might feel the faint brush of another presence beside you. Not frightening, only ancient, as if the mountain itself were leaning close to whisper a secret it has never told. Morning creeps gently over the mountains. Mist unwinds itself from the branches and slips away like a dream you can't quite recall. The trail glistens with dew, footprints filling slowly with water. For every hiker who steps onto it today, there is another who once did and never returned. Their absence lingers like perfume faint, familiar, impossible to name. It's easy to think of the wilderness as empty, but out here, emptiness is only another kind of presence. The silence holds weight. The wind carries voices. Every ridge remembers, even if we've forgotten what it's remembering. The Appalachian Trail is a line between worlds, between civilization and wildness, certainty and surrender. Those who vanish within it become part of its language, their stories told by rain on leaves, their laughter folded into the hum of insects at dusk. Maybe the forest doesn't steal people. Maybe it simply keeps them in a way we don't understand. If you ever walk these miles alone, pause when the air grows still. Listen to the space between footsteps. You might hear the trail exhale, a sound older than memory, reminding you that nothing is ever truly lost. There are mysteries we chase, and others we are meant to rest beside. The Appalachian Trail teaches both. It asks only patience and offers in return the kind of quiet that lives forever. You have been listening to Strange but Slumber, where stories drift between waking and dream, and the unknown rocks us gently towards sleep. Until next time, sleep well and keep a light by the trail.